In the past, we may have very well made statements such as, I love Israel, or I just love the Jewish people, or wherever I stand with Israel. Where is the fruit from such statements? This is Barry Phillips, a 10-minute Torah, day 4 of Yetzeh. And we begin in Bereshit, or Genesis chapter number 30, and let's read verse 1, which says, And Rachel saw that she bore Yaakov no children, and Rachel envied her sister and said to Yaakov, Give me children, or else I am going to die. It was culturally acceptable in this particular day and time that we're reading of for a man to have 2 wives with different roles and purposes. One was to be the trophy wife, the beautiful babe that would be at his arm, retaining her beautiful, youthful appearance, her body unmarred by childbearing, while the secondary wife, or second choice of wife, would be the one with the role of bearing children, producing heirs. Both were necessary. Typically, correctly, they should be embodied in a single individual, but in that day and time, it was acceptable to have that second wife solely for the reason of having children. Consider the story of Hannah in 1 Samuel, who may have been very well a trophy wife, and her competing wife was bearing children and gloating over her in that, until Hannah prayed, and Yah answered her prayer and gave her Samuel or Shemuel. So we read here that Rachel is looking at her sister Leah, who has already given birth to 4 sons. Not just 1, 4 sons. And the sound of her sister's children are filling the family compound. Where are my children? After all, there is a need, a yearning, a desire for motherhood here, and she's not realizing it. She goes to Yaakov and says, You must give me children or I'm going to die. This is so grievous to me. I am without life, without children. Now, maybe she has reasoned, as we have read over in the previous chapter, verse 31, Yahweh saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So maybe she had realized that Yaakov had prayed for Leah's womb to be open, but not hers. She may have also been thinking, okay, you only love me for my appearance. You don't love me enough to give a child with me. So her complaint is based on envy, but it is also a real understanding of depth and need. So there is this need of completion by bearing fruit. Let's bring it back over then to the opening statement. We have professed our need and desire and affinity with Israel, our connection with Israel. Maybe you have olive wood trinkets in your house, and a talit, and a shofar, and a menorah, and candlesticks from Israel for Shabbat. And, you have, jewelry. You've identified with. You got an Israeli flag that you fly. You've gone to all of the steps. You've gone to the land. You've walked and seen the sights. You send funds over to Israel. You buy products from Israel. And you're trying to be supportive. Okay, all of these things are well and good. And I encourage them. You've gone to the place of studying the word from the foundation of the Torah. Good choice. You're observing Shabbat. You're observing feast days. You're doing the right things. good choices, right steps. I encourage you to take them. How have these things changed your life? Well, I'm just different. I schedule different. I feel different. I think different. Well and good. Where is the fruit? Is it only realized within yourself, or is it producing life outside of yourself? A woman conceives and has life living within her, and only a woman can experience this. This life grows inside of her, and to the days of her completion have come, and she gives birth, and life exists outside of her. That which was living within her is now living outside of her. Let's say that again. That which was conceived and living within her is now living outside of her. This is what must be accomplished in our vital connection with Yaakov, who is Israel. So it's not just the people and the land, and that's vital. That's absolutely vital. But it is the spiritual connection to the identity of Israel. Saying that you stand with Israel, or even adopting the identity of being a man or a woman of Israel, calling yourself a Hebrew, it's more than a title. It's more than a trinket that we put around our neck. It becomes an inward conceiving inside of us, but it needs to produce life outside of us. Somehow we've got to take this revelation and this conception to a place of birthing where we see it stand in front of us and grow and mature and achieve. This means that we began to replicate ourselves. This is a challenge that is more than just, I want a baby. The fanciful idea of a young wife, I want a baby. Let's have a baby. Well, the idea of having a baby is an exciting thing. And it's a prayer that Yah will answer. But when it's nursing and diaper changes and crying in the middle of the night and interrupted sleep schedules and, having a toddler that's got the little cookie dough legs and goo goo gagas and learning to crawl and all of the sweet things that babies do, they grow up into children. They really do. And the children, they go through those 2 and 3-year-old spells there where it's like, what were we thinking? And then they become older and more complex and more energetic. And you realize, I have the responsibility of shaping this life and maturing this life. And as they grow older and older, you realize I've got X number of years left to finalize their preparation to get into the world and become an adult. All of this is fruit bearing. Fruit bearing is not just birthing. Fruit bearing is continuing on after the birthing process. And Yochanan, or John chapter 15, Yeshua instructs us about this process of pruning in order that a vine become not only bearing of fruit, but bearing more fruit and bearing better quality fruit. Taking on the identity of Israel and being willing to go through the maturing process of seeing life-giving fruit outside of ourselves is a challenge, especially in our day with the spirit of anti-Semitism, which is grounded in the spirit of the anti-Mashiach. They are vitally connected. Is spewing Jewish hatred even among those who are supposed to be bearing fruit. Don't fall into the traps. Look for fruit. Many of you are celebrating Thanksgiving today, and I pray that your time with those who sit with you, gather with you, that you celebrate the faithfulness and the favor of our King toward us, and may He continue to favor you and bless you. Until tomorrow, shalom.